So I want to talk about a couple lessons learned during this economic fallout for my business as well as personally. And the first one is cash is king and cash flow is king. In the past, if I'm able to secure a discount by paying things far in advance, buying for a year service in advance, things like that, a lot of times I do it to save that money. But what I found out now is I paid for a conference, hotel reservations, things, left deposits for things that almost a year in advance that have since been put on hold, unlikely to happen, and can't get a refund for any of that. So a couple $1,000s probably down the drain at that point for me trying to get a 15% discount. So in trying to do that, I lost several $1,000s. But prepaying for things, still not a bad strategy, but you really have to watch your cash flow and think to yourself, well, am I parting with that money? If something happens, if I need that money back, will that be a problem? So definitely keep a closer eye on cash flow, on your cash reserves, because you never know when something like this is going to happen now. And that cash might be really, really important for your business. And those other people that have your money may not be willing to give it back to you. The second thing is with banking. Banks always try to encourage you to do all your banking with one bank. They want you to do your personal banking, your business banking with one bank, have all your relationships. They make it easier for you, things like that. And I've done that in the past. We've always kept one personal bank account, and then another bank, we keep a business bank account. But as you're finding now, as a business owner, especially here in the United States, the Paycheck Protection Program, you have to go apply through your bank that you have a relationship with. And what a lot of businesses have found, myself included, I didn't have to apply for it, thankfully, but it didn't matter because my bank, where I have my commercial accounts, decided they're not going to offer it. They offered it very briefly in the beginning, and then they cut it off. And now when the second round of stimulus came out, they decided not to even offer it to their clients. So didn't matter if I did need it, I would be out of luck because it's the only business banking relationship I have. And they've given zero opportunity for their business customers to apply for a paycheck protection loan. Also, there's other banks where it had a lot of criteria. If you didn't have an outstanding loan with them in the first place, even if you only had a savings account or a checking account, unless you had a loan or a line of credit with them, they would not give you that Paycheck Protection Program loan. So same thing, I would definitely not put all my eggs in one banking basket. So if I have a checking and savings account at one bank and I needed a line of credit, I would definitely consider now spreading my relationships with other banks, because having all of my banking in one place in this situation would not have worked out for me if I did need that line of credit, if I did need a loan. So I would definitely look at different kinds of relationships and not trust the banks ever, and definitely not trust keeping everything with a single bank, because you never know when you're going to need those banking relationships. And as you can see today, unless you had previous banking relationships with them, they will not accept you as a new customer and help you out during this economic downturn. And the last thing is diversifying business. And I talked about this in my last video, is the businesses that are hurting a lot right now are especially the brick and mortar businesses that were completely shut down. They're not allowed to open, and they do not have a secondary source of revenue, of customer, acquisition, things like that. So have a hard look at your business. Luckily for my business, it's pretty much all online and hasn't been affected too much by it. But if you're a brick and mortar business right now, I would definitely start thinking of contingency plans. Well, if my business had to close, what can I do? Can I sell online through e-commerce? Can I do virtual consultations? Can I do Skype calls? How can I pick things up if for some reason the government, which they have done, is they shut down my store? People do not want to go outside now. How can I keep functioning as a business? So definitely start to think of some contingency plans, alternatives, and start putting those things into place as soon as possible, because this, you may be thinking this is a once in a lifetime event, but guess what? If it happened once, it can very likely happen again for other reasons or another pandemic or something like that. But it's a good opportunity to evaluate your business to see how can I, if this happened to me again, how can I pivot my business and how can I be prepared where I can keep functioning even on a limited basis to keep customers, sales going, keep customer acquisition going, things like that. So just a couple of things to think about. If you have any questions, you can contact me at 3Bug Media, but hopefully you're doing well or the best you can during these times, and best of luck getting your business back up and running once this lockup ends.